no matter where you grew up or how, you've experienced your life, you have a connection to this experience. You have it in some form. You have a connection to it through the mother's lens, where you are, wanting to protect those you love. You have an experience through it, as we've all been a 17-year-old, and everybody knows what it felt like to be 17. You're only 17 at one time, and everything gets on your nerves. And you just want to be left alone to do what you know is right. And why doesn't anybody leave you alone?
Because your brain just don't work.
Because your brain just don't work. That's right. So you have that reconnection with that younger you. And then you have this connection with, relationships in your life that, maybe weren't the healthiest, or maybe didn't bring you all that you needed, but you find later that it gave you actually exactly what you were supposed to have. So to have Ali at the center, to have a young, woman of color at the center of this piece is exactly how it's supposed to be, because that's what Hell's Kitchen looks like. And that this, when you see the production, it looks like the city. It looks like my New York City, his New York City, his New York City, her New York City, it's our New York City. You know what I mean? And so I think it feels really exhilarating what you discover, because even you actually discover how much of Jersey's story this is. You think you're going there to get Ali's story, you actually are going there to get Jersey's story as well. So there is such a, there's just so many surprises, I think, to it. But I think your question and your point of really seeing this dynamic, diverse group of people, and this really particularly dynamic woman played by Malia Joy Moon, young woman, claiming her space and trying to find her way. And that's why that tagline, "Remember where dreams begin," is so important for this, because we all have to remember that. Whether you're at the beginning of your dream, in the middle of a dream, towards the end of whatever version you're in, we all have to remember where they began, so that we can keep them going. So it's pretty thrilling. I can't underplay the excitement. There's no way to underplay it. It's tremendous. Even seeing this poster all over on the street, it's like, yeah. And as many young girls and young boys, and people are gonna say, "Man, that's me. That's me. This is my story. This is who I am. That's my sister. This is our story." So it's really exciting to be able to do that. When we opened the box office, there was a group of young kids, PS 92. They said, "We're from PS 92," and I was like, "I'm from PS 116," and everybody just started throwing out their PSs. That's a New York thing. And I'm like, wow. Like, I was that kid. That was me. That was us. And so it just really was quite profound. And so that through line that is possible for us to find our way somehow is really strong in this piece, and it lands. My mother was raised in Toledo, Ohio, and she is the quintessential New York story. She is the girl that escaped the small town to come to New York to pursue her dream of acting and dancing. And her mother, the story goes, her mother made her do 1 year at Toledo University. And so after she finished the 1 year at Toledo University, she eagerly escaped and went to NYU. And so much of my childhood was really based around watching and experiencing her in this space, in the theater, in this creative universe. And I would, she also had a day job. She was a paralegal. And I would fall asleep simultaneously under her desk as a paralegal and also in the chairs of all the theaters that she went to. And so for me, I remember the first time she was playing this particular part and the guy was being super mean to her, and I started crying. "He's mean to you, why is he doing that to you?" And that was my first, understanding that, this is when you recreate real life in these ways. And so I think because of that, that really took that was a big influence on my younger years, and we would go to the TKS line and get the lesser price tickets so we could afford it, and we would go see a bunch of Broadway together. So this is a big memory that I have of my creative experience as a young child. And we saw shows like I remember Rent, obviously. Who doesn't? I remember, but it was big. It was big for me because I was singing songs delivered in a way that I wanted to go home and play them on the piano. I remember going home and wanting to play songs on the piano. I remember I felt that way about Bringing the Noise, Bringing the Funk. I felt like, wow, I was seeing this other version of like music in a way and theater in a way that was unique and different. And so I think that was the reason why doing this story for the theater felt so, as a musical, felt so right, because the stories are so deep and so resonant, and because this was her passion and therefore a passion of mine, and it taught me so much about the creative process, it felt like it would be such a beautiful way to put that all together with music and dance and create this kind of, mixing these universes and worlds together.